Broncos country. Let's ride. That's right. We got the victory. That's always nice in preseason, 34-30. But here's the deal. Bo Nix looked like that dude. That is the headline. That's the takeaway from today's reaction. That's why I had to throw on the Broncos foam hat. Was feeling thrilled about this. So, we're going to dive into my post-game takeaways here in just a moment. Y'all be sure to let me know your takeaways, who you thought played the best, winners, losers from today's game. But let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? So the big story, yes, Bo Nix. Of course, Jarrett Stidham had a couple drives with the first team offense, and that's pretty much typical Jarrett Stidham that I feel like we saw. He ended up being 4 of 7 for 37 yards on the day, and had a nice pass to Samaje Perine. But man, Samaje Perine started playing patty cake with the football, and it's actually picked off. I didn't feel like, of course, it's fair to have that interception on Jarrett Stidham, but it is what it is. But then Bo Nix came in. I think he had like 4 drives or so. 15 of 21, 71% completion percentage. Okay, guys, 125 yards and a very nice touchdown throw on an RPO on the goal line, on the 1 yard line to Marvin Mims. The accuracy, the timing, the zip on the ball was exactly what you wanted to see. And I thought Bo Nix looked the part. I think he crushed today. Of course, he had for those first maybe drive and a half or so, he had some rookie moments, looked a little uncomfortable, bobbled the snap under center. That stuff that, again, you want to get that stuff out of the way early so it's not affecting you during the regular season. But even with the pocket breaking down, he kept his eyes downfield. That was one of my biggest takeaways. He wasn't just looking at his first read and then looking to see where he could run. No. He was able to keep his eyes downfield and make some really nice throws. You saw him hit Cortland Sutton on a third and long along the sideline after scrambling in the pocket for a little bit. You saw some nice timing throws to guys like Josh Reynolds on the outside, David Sills on a third down. I thought he played really, really well. Now, there are some things, again, in which he looked kind of like a rookie. Footwork was a little inconsistent. Some of them he looked a little rushed on some of his throws, but for a first game in the NFL, I thought Bo Nix passed with flying colors. He showcased his accuracy, his arm talent, took care of the football, and again, when we needed plays from him the most, on that 2-minute drive down the field to end the half, that resulted in a field goal. Again, giving us a nice touchdown drive that resulted in a perfect pass to Marvin Mims on that RPO. That's why Bo Nix, of course, he's the MVP of today. And let me go ahead and take off my cap. That was my first game reaction, or my first post-game reaction to Bo Nix. Happy about that. But, man, he he better crush it. That's right. He's been playing for 40 years. You're absolutely right, Alan. When you got 61 college starts, you better be good. You better absolutely be good. And he looked how I would have expected. Again, had some run with the ones, which was nice. Did very well with the twos. And next Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, starts at home against the Green Bay Packers. That's going to be another good test. But let's go ahead and get into some more post-game thoughts. I'll go ahead and bring up the box score and just kind of talk through positions, position group by position group, who I thought played well, standout plays, all of that. We'll start with the offense, then get to the defense. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Maybe I can increase it a little bit. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Working on this on the fly. So, okay. So let's start with the quarterbacks. Again, you've heard my take on Bo Nix so far, so we can go ahead and just get to Jarrett Stidham. Again, Jarrett Stidham came out there. He kind of looked like that typical backup, I feel like. Didn't really get a ton of run. 2 drives, 4 of 7, 37 yards. What I was predicting was 5 of 8 for like 32 yards. So was about what I was expecting. Again, I didn't feel like that interception should have been fair to him, but it is what it is. Not a ton of impact throws or attempts to throw down the field, and I think that's been one of my main criticisms of Jarrett Stidham, and probably why, in my opinion, he's more of a career long-term backup than a starting caliber quarterback. He just doesn't push the ball downfield like he did in college. But let's talk about Zach Wilson. I thought that for somebody who's been up and down throughout OTAs, throughout training camp, the biggest thing that I was saying yesterday in my preview is that you wanted to see him play with some consistency, play within the offense, not turn the ball over at all. And he looked very comfortable. 10 of 13, 170 or 17 yards. It's a 9-yard average. Wow. And a quarterback rating of 103.7. Orchestrated some great drives in the second half to help increase the lead. And then Blake Watson, they were able to run out the clock to help win the game. But 77% completion percentage for Zach Wilson. That's not something that you see every day from him. But I thought that he showed good aggressiveness. He almost it was like a deep post route. He almost hit Marvin Mims for what would have been a touchdown. It was just a tad behind where you need that pass to be. But I like to see him staying aggressive downfield. I thought he threw the screens and the flats really well. Good passes to Brandon Johnson, to Blake Watson. Again, I thought that he looked nice and better than what I was expecting. So when we're talking about Zach Wilson, I'm not really expecting him to be much of anything this year. You just want him to go through the quarterback rehab, similar to Sam Darnold went through last year with the Niners, and then we can kind of see what happens, and maybe he gets himself another contract with the Broncos or somewhere else. But I thought Zach Wilson looked good, and I still would like to see all 3 quarterbacks on this roster. We'll see if that's feasible at all. Yeah, but again, Shai, I'll get back to this here in a minute. But yeah, Bo Nix absolutely killed it. He showed really everything that you wanted to see: accuracy, zip, keeping his eyes downfield when scrambling, when running, something Russell Wilson was awful at, and really showed, I think, a good amount of poise. There were some rookie moments, and I think that as he plays more games, he'll get more comfortable. You won't see I think you'll see his footwork settle down a little bit, and you'll see more of that consistency. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the running back room, Jose. I thought that. Let me scroll up here. I really loved what we saw from our running backs. First thing, Javonte Williams looked great. He looked explosive. He didn't get a ton of run, which I'm totally fine with, but 4 carries, 15 yards, 3.8 average. You want to see better, but I thought that he played pretty well. And the biggest thing is that I just wanted to see how he looked. And he definitely looked a bit lighter on his feet compared to what or how he looked last year. So maybe dropping that 10, 12 pounds over this past month has really helped him and puts less pressure on your knees. And with him recovering from that knee injury, still, it's very important to put as minimal weight and pressure on those knees as possible. So I thought that he played well. I think our best running back out of the day, though, was probably Jaleel McLaughlin. If you factor in the level of talent he was going against, I thought that, he ran well between the tackles. He looked good on the outside. He showcased some speed, burst, making a case to be that primary spell back, I think, if Javonte Williams is going to be your number 1 back. Samaje Perine was kind of disappointing to me. Again, you don't see him do this very often, playing patty cake with the football when it's thrown to him. again, that wasn't Jared Stidham's fault. That was put right on the money. And yeah, that's the one big thing that I remember from Samaje Perine was giving up that interception. But Blake Watson looked good. He ran the ball well there at the end of the game. Nice touchdown run. Tyler Beatty looked slippery, had a very nice touchdown run there in the end zone. I feel very good about this running back room right now. And then, of course, Audric Estime, 10 carries, 31 yards, 3.1 average, and a nice touchdown run. Where he succeeded at was getting that short yardage stuff, those short yardage conversions for the Broncos and the goal line on third down. Both Blake Watson and Audric Estime had fumbles. I believe we were able to recover the Blake Watson fumble, but Audric Estime's was taken back for a touchdown. And that's something that again, up and down game from Audric Estime. We didn't see him break a big run open or anything like that, but the yards after contact I thought were great. And again, he's somebody that you can give the ball to with confidence in short yardage. That has been an area where we have struggled at previously over the last few seasons, and I do feel good about him there. But he just needs to be able to secure the football. You want to see our rookies get those rookie moments out early, and I believe he was used in the passing game a little bit. Maybe not, though. Yeah, he had 3 catches for 13 yards. I thought he showcased himself well in the passing game. Audric Estime did. So takeaway from the running back room, there was a lot more good than bad in the running back room, no doubt. And to see, get Bo Nix on the rushing stat sheet, 3 rushes, 17 yards, 5.7 yards a carry. That's nice to see him have the ability to do it. But again, kept his eyes downfield, was still looking to make a play with his arm. That is so refreshing to watch, even though it's preseason. Now, let's go ahead and get to the receivers. Cortland Sutton, 2 catches for 35 yards, 22 long. That was a nice third down conversion, if I remember, along the sideline from Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton. I thought that he looked good. Blake Watson turning up that nice little dump down in the flat from Zach Wilson up 33 yards. That helped ice the game. Lucas Kroll, again, an up and down day for him. Started out real rough with his first catch being a catch fumble. Thankfully, we were able to intercept it. We'll get back to that when we talk about the defense. But Lucas Kroll, the biggest thing was that I felt like he bounced back from that mistake and was able to get 3 more catches there. Showed himself to have some nice chemistry there with Bo Nix. Up and down day for him with that fumble. Marvin Mims, I thought looked good. It was nice to see him used on that RPO touchdown from Bo Nix to him. Marvin Mims ran that route very, very well, and love to see him used in the red zone, even in short yardage. David Sills came up with a couple of nice catches. One, I believe, was it should have been a third down conversion. Maybe it was 4th and inches after the catch, and Audric Estime helped them get that, but I thought he showed himself really well. Josh Reynolds had a nice little out route, 1 catch for 11 yards. Bo Nix showed some good timing on that pass, timing and accuracy, and he was able to get some yards after the catch for that first down. Let's see, who else in the passing game I thought really stuck out to me. Tim Patrick started out the game with a nice first half conversion, and he was fired up that he got a taunting penalty, I believe. But good to see Tim Patrick back, fired up, ready to play. Devon Vele, I thought, didn't have a great game. Seemed like there was probably 3 different plays in which Bo Nix and him were on a different page, where probably the most notable was that route in the red zone or the end zone where Vele was running a slant route, but really there was a linebacker underneath. There was a safety over there. It didn't really make sense. Bo Nix threw a fade, and I think the commentary even agreed with that too. There were a couple routes before that where I feel like Bo Nix was throwing a different route than what we saw Vele run. I'm always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the quarterback for the most part. So again, I think Vele will work that stuff out. I do see him making this roster, and I do want him to be on the 53. It was nice to see Bo Nix target him on a nice fly route that ended up in a pass interference. I think that might have been a 3rd and long, but you got to imagine you'll see some of that with Cortland Sutton too. You know, when Drew Lock would throw up those, or Russell Wilson would throw up those one-on-ones, and half the time they would be pass interference. Nice to see Bo Nix hunt for those things as well. Devon Vele has that same size, and so you're able to do that same thing in one-on-one coverage. It was great to see Bo Nix target him in that way. But yeah, before we continue on, I'll get to some of the comments. Shy Vargas, do you think Bo Nix will be the starter? I do think he will. Again, I feel like he made more impact throws than, again, Jarrett Stidham had less run, but Bo Nix had impact throws. He was throwing down the field. He was throwing with zip. He was throwing with aggressiveness, timing. He was able to make plays on his feet and still keep his eyes downfield. I do think that he, even at this point, I think he's the better player. Now, we'll get confirmation of that next week with the Packers. We'll see how that goes. But I do think that he gives this offense a little bit more dynamicism. Is that a word? But I think he does. D-Rock, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Zach Wilson looked great as well. I agree. That was awesome to see him have some very nice success. Looked poised. I thought he made a lot more better throws than bad throws. Again, 77% completion percentage, just about. Zach Wilson, really? This is what we're talking about, the quarterback rehab. I'm not even going to come out here and say he needs to be the quarterback 2 ahead of Jarrett Stidham. No, I'm not going that far. This guy needs to have, he needs to be eased back into it. And having him go against the 2s and the 3s, how he performed, I was very happy. I don't want to rush this quarterback rehab with him at all. I'd like to see all 3 quarterbacks on the roster. But TTL saying Zach quarterback 2? Hey, that very well could be the case by how the rest of this preseason goes, I guess. We'll see. But overall, great day from the quarterbacks. So happy to see Bo Nix and Zach Wilson perform well. Again, we didn't really get much of a sample size from Jarrett Stidham, but from what we did see, it was kind of typical Jarrett Stidham. Not anything that's going to lose you games, but I don't know if he's the type of quarterback that can win games for you. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's going to be a serviceable backup for us. Good Lord, guys, let's take care of the football this season. Hopefully we can just get this out of our system early on. Lucas Kroll with a fumble, Audric Estime with a fumble, Zach Wilson with a fumble, and Bo Nix. But Bo Nix was able to recover it, which was nice. But we did get Matt Henningsen also was able to record a fumble recovery on defense. But let's go ahead and get to the defense. Wasn't watching this as closely as the offense, but some takeaways that I had. But some takeaways that I had was Alex Singleton looks great. He was all over the place. I think that he looked pretty good. I thought that Cody Barton looked a little bit better than Jonas Griffith. Now, there were like a couple instances, I think, where you saw Barton kind of over pursue on some outside run plays. Sometimes it's tough for me to judge gap responsibility, but it did kind of look like he over pursued there. But I thought that he looked like the better inside linebacker there. Malcolm Roche, of course, was all over the place as well. Jonah Ellis, I thought, for a rookie, 3rd-round rookie, he looked really, really good. He made some plays in the run game. He was there in the passing or in the pass rush. Again, he was able to hit. I think that was Sam Ehlinger right after the Lucas Kroll fumble. And who picked that off? I'm trying to remember who picked off. Yeah, it was Keydron Smith picked off the pass, but that came from the Jonah Ellis pressure and hit on the quarterback as well. I thought he looked good. Dondre Tillman, our UFL signee, had a tackle for loss, which was great. Sack, tackle for loss, and quarterback hit. So that was great to see. Damari Mathis. Oh, I wish he would have had that interception. That's kind of the story of Damari Mathis. I thought he looked okay. I thought that Riley Moss looked okay. I thought Riley Moss did a pretty good job tackling. There were a couple passes completed on him, but I thought that he did fairly well. And Reese Taylor with 3 tackles on the defense. PJ Locke, it was nice to see him kind of used all over the field in coverage. And then, of course, was sent on a couple of blitzes, if I remember correctly. Chris Abrams drained with an interception on a 2-point conversion there in the fourth quarter. Nice to see the ball hawk making ball hawk plays. Love that. I don't know if he's I don't expect him to be a starter on the team this year, but if he's somebody that can make plays in a reserve capacity, oh, yes. Yes. So I thought that he had a really nice play. It'll be interesting to see kind of what grades these guys are given from coverage and when it comes to the defensive line and offensive line play for that matter. I thought that Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsyth both did a pretty good job. There was, again, a couple of snaps from Wattenberg that I didn't really like, that I thought just didn't have the zip on them that they should have in shotgun. So, but I was paying a little bit more close attention to Wattenberg than I was Forsyth at some certain points. But Forsyth played the majority of the game, and I thought both of them looked good. I think overall the offensive line is going to be a strength of this team. I thought that I thought that Frank Crum looked pretty good from what I remember. And again, I thought that we blocked well as a unit. So on special teams, it was nice to see Tremont Smith get a nice return. Jalen Virgil had the biggest return of the day. I do like the new kickoff. Like, this is my first time really watching it, and all this was great. But those are my main takeaways. We'll see what can happen or what happens with the secondary. I believe, who was it? And then I'll get to some more of your comments. I'm looking for a player. Yeah, I guess Keydron Smith was there running with the 1s and the 2s, which was good to see. Again, Matt Henningsen with the fumble recovery. Then we also saw a guy who's been in the league, I think, a couple of years, Jordan Jackson. Yeah, 6th-round pick a couple of years ago. He was starting for us in this game, and that was a little bit surprising for me to see that. But nice to see an Air Force guy, local guy here from Colorado, working his way up for the Broncos. But yeah, like I couldn't be more pleased. It feels great to see an offense like actually score points, and for us to put up 34 points, even with the turnovers that we had. Let's get to the team stats. Even with the turnovers that we had, I think it's a big win for us. And yeah, I think, again, some sloppy moments. We'll get that stuff cleaned up, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the team stats here. 3rd down, 7 of 13. As a team, I love that. 2 of 2 on 4th down, 79 plays on offense, 410 yards, guys. If this could be more the norm. 5.2 yards per play, we'll take that. Rushing, 3.4 yards per rush. We want to see that get up. But yeah, I thought we had some nice impact rushes, but you would like to see some more long distance rushes as well. 6 penalties, 60 yards, not terrible. And then, again, 3 turnovers. We still generated 2, which was nice. So a net of -1. But yeah, you want to see us clean up. But the fact is that we won this game with 3 turnovers. We dominated time of possession, 38 minutes to 22 minutes. Absolutely love it. I thought that this was a good team win for the Broncos. Overall, many more good plays than bad plays. So, with that being said, guys, again, thank you so much. I will get to some of your comments if you guys got any. Oh, yeah, that's right. Reynolds did have a really tough drop. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Got to make those plays. We got to make those catches. And yeah, D Rock, the running backs looking like number 25, No Moss. Yeah, even Tyler Beatty looked good. Blake Watson had some impact plays. Our room looks explosive. We got a handful of guys with a variety of different skills, which is nice. But to see Jaleel McLaughlin, I felt like he was the best running back of the day, being able to make plays in the passing game. What was it, McLaughlin that um, Bo Nix hit on like a third down the field on like a wheel route, I believe, looked really good there. But he made plays in the passing game on off tackle, outside runs, and then was able to run it inside as well. Jaleel McLaughlin looking good, looking like he's improving that all down, that 3 down skill set. And I think he looks a little bit bigger too. Big E Bronco, thanks so much for tuning in. Judge Mathis, that's right. It would have been so nice to see him get that interception at first, but it is what it is. Please, for the love of all creation, do not put Tremont Smith in at cornerback. No, I think if he's going to be on this team, you just want him to return kicks. And if we do have a larger role for Marvin Mims this year, you probably don't put him back there, or probably shouldn't. So, yeah, guys, overall, just absolutely thrilled. One, that football's back. Two, to see the Broncos play well, and to see the team play well throughout the depth chart. First team, second team, third team. I think they all had more good moments than they did bad moments, and that was reflected in the score. And I do think Zach Wilson's going to be somebody to keep an eye on, because he does have the arm talent, again, to keep this offense feeling dynamic, looking dynamic, performing dynamic. But I don't want to give him too much too soon. I don't think Sean Payton wants to either. Bo Nix showcased the arm talent. He looked the part, a little bit up and down. Again, that first drive, feet a little bit uncomfortable. But, and there were a couple times I feel like on scrambles where he got a little ahead of himself. If he had just calmed down, set his feet, would have made a better throw. But he did have those moments showcasing the zip on the ball, the accuracy downfield. He was staying aggressive downfield as well. And then, of course, in the short to intermediate game, threw some great timing routes. And I think that was showcased probably the best on that RPO touch. That is a tough throw on the 1 yard line to throw that like out in the flat to Marvin Mims. You got to throw it with fantastic timing so the DB doesn't get a jump, and it's got to be accurate to where it's only Mims can grab it and you're not throwing it out of bounds. I love to see the RPO incorporated into this offense. This was something that Russell Wilson did not excel at throwing, and Bo Nix is very good at that. So it was cool to see Sean Payton incorporate that into the offense, into the calls on the play sheet in today's game, because Bo Nix, he ran that RPO stuff to perfection at Oregon when he was asked to do it. So decision-making, I thought, was great. And I think he'll tighten up a little bit more of those rookie moments the more he gets time to play. So I think what I'll do is do some more in-depth breakdowns on the performances of individual players and of the team throughout this week. And of course, kind of covering any other news. But guys, like, I'm just so happy we have Broncos football to look forward to, and to see the offense opened up a little bit, even in preseason, is just so refreshing. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. 61 viewers. Fantastic. So y'all be sure to smash that like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Those things do so many good things in the algorithm for me and for the channel. So we're going to continue to grow this thing till we're right up there with Perna, right? Is that the goal? maybe one day Perna will do a show with me. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And as always, y'all, go Broncos.